I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script every scene. These from last year, but they clean. Say to say I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang the regime. I'm from Potty Green.
What's good, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video. And today, I want to talk about this video that just came out earlier today of Matt Rhule talking to members of the media, talking about free agency, the draft, and how this offseason has gone so far, how it's been kind of weird. Not just kind of weird, it's been very weird for him, for basically everybody in the organization, outside the organization, everyone in the league, the media members, all of that. I mean, they're having a video conference from his house with media members at their houses. It's a really, really weird situation we're in right now, obviously because of coronavirus. Obviously, we can't have any sort of meetings, face-to-face, gatherings, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and break down what Matt Rhule said in this 24, I think it's like 25 minutes of a video that was put on the Panthers YouTube page just earlier today. I have that link in the description below. But as you can probably just go ahead and imagine, the first question that was asked was about Cam. How we just cold cut him, not really out of nowhere, honestly, but it felt like it was a really just badly handled situation. And he was asked about it not just once, but a couple of times, asking about why Cam was cut, what the thought process was in cutting Cam, what the team looks like moving forward, why did the team choose Teddy Bridgewater over Cam. And when you have these kind of talks with coaches, GMs, that kind of stuff, whenever these conversations are being recorded or broadcast or whatever, you have to keep in mind that on one hand, yes, it is interesting to hear from the coaches, especially in a more relaxed environment like his house. But you have to also think, on the other hand, if it's being recorded or broadcast, they're not ever going to be 100% candid. And that's because of media members, opinionated people who have actual platforms, who, you say one thing, and if you don't say it the exact right way, what you said can be turned to something different, or you can have a question asked where a loophole and maybe a slight different wording what you said gets put out, and you have to just really be really safe with the words you use and the words you don't use. So you're never going to get 100% honesty from coaches or even players oftentimes in recorded conversations. And I think we all understand and we get that. So like I said, it is cool to see these kind of things, these kind of semi-candid conversations going on, but we all understand that not every single thing is going to be explained 100%. We're not going to hear like an actual 100% truthful answer to all these questions. And some other former players who's talking about Eric Reid, why was he cut? There was a lot more, I guess you can say, euphemism used here. He didn't exactly say what it was, like really. I guess he didn't really fit the system. He didn't fit the, not the system, but fit the culture. He did have a sort of step back last year. Now, Eric Reid was injured, but the man was never, ever in his career thought of as a coverage strong safety. And one thing about Eric Snow and his system is that he really likes to have everyone in the secondary needs to have ball skills. You have to be able to cover. If it's not really man-to-man so often, you have to be able to hold a zone. And I don't think that Eric Reid really fit that. But I do believe that it wasn't just 100% Eric Reid not being able to go ahead and be able to cover. I do think that part of it was he was outspoken. He has a platform and he's not afraid to use it. I'd be lying if I said that I did not believe there was at least some portion of that working in the reason why the team got rid of him in this offseason. He spoke on Christian McCaffrey. We all know that C-Mac, CMC, run, CMC, all that, number 22, deuce, everything like that. He is the face of this franchise. Obviously. There's no question about it. We all understand what Christian McCaffrey is, who he is, what he brings to this team week in and week out. And for the last couple years, the team really has gone as Christian McCaffrey has gone. There's really no question about that at all. So it was very interesting to hear him talk about Christian McCaffrey as being the face of the franchise and a guy you want to build around. Because look, you're not going to hear any single Panthers fan or even any fan of any team when looking at the Panthers say Christian McCaffrey is not that team's best player. It's obvious he is, but it's going to be really weird to talk about what's going to happen when it comes down to contract time, because we've seen very, very strong examples of teams paying running backs top dollar and then not getting the return in dividends, not getting the return of investments? Because let's be honest, first off, running backs do have a drop off after age 30, and for first round running backs, you can do the first 4 years of the contract, 5th year option, franchise tag, and by that year, they're 29, 30 years old, and we all know that college running backs is the easiest position to transition to the NFL, and if you find another guy in the first 2-3 rounds, you can probably approximate having some very good running back play in your backfield. But we do understand that Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac, is not just a running back. He is not just a tailback. He is everything. Honestly, there's not a single thing that Christian McCaffrey cannot do on offense except for maybe block consistently. Or you wouldn't want him to be blocking consistently if he has something better back there at your disposal. But then that question comes to, do you want to pay him like a slot receiver? How are you going to actually use him? And how will that pay really affect what you can do with everyone else on the team? Because there are a lot of good players, a lot of impactful players who are going to be up for contracts around the same time as Christian McCaffrey. Talking about Curtis Samuel, DJ, Taylor Moton is a huge one, and there are others as well. So yeah, think about that when you think about what you're going to pay Christian McCaffrey, and are you really going to build around him for the future? And if you are, is he going to still be your running back, or are you moving to a slot receiver? But there's no question that he's our best player. No question at all. I mean, that wasn't even a question at all. He talked about the draft. He talked about what the team's needs were, and there was no surprise. The dude basically said, let me go ahead and name every single position group on defense. And then he did. We can sit here and talk about quarterback protection. We can talk about weapons. We can talk about going in the 4th round for a tight end. We can talk about running back backups. But when it comes down to it, the biggest weakness this year coming up, as well as the past season, as well as I think even 2 years ago, was defense. Specifically, run defense. It has not been good for a while now. And we just lost a lot of really good players. We lost one great, once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. And then we lost a lot of other pieces that do have very strong value. The defense needs help literally everywhere. So when you get a question like that, and I think it was Jordan Rodriguez who asked that question, but he had already mentioned before earlier in the week that he wanted to make a lot of moves on the defensive side of the ball. So it was kind of like a softball kind of question where even if you didn't have to ask him, everyone knew the biggest concern, the biggest place for any kind of improvement was the defensive side of the ball. The team made a lot of good moves on offense. All right, we saw a lot of really good things happen for the offense. Maybe you want to have some more protection up there, but I think we have a good, stopgap for our O-line. We have good players and good spots who can play well enough to get us through this year. Now, if we do want to look forward to the future, I think we do want to look at maybe getting an O-lineman in the 3rd or the 4th, but I mean, that's looking more for the future. If you're trying to just have a really decent team next year, you may want to go all defense till round 5-ish, round 6-ish. But there are going to be some pretty solid O-linemen in the middle of the draft, either late day 2 or very early day 3. I would not be surprised if we look at some sort of tackle around that time. But it's no surprise that the first 3-4 picks should be on defense. And he even said, look, man, we need help literally everywhere. This is a great situation to be in because when you need help everywhere, you can just say, best player available. We really can't afford to pass up on any real talent. Now, I don't remember if he addressed trading down, but I know for a fact that if he was, he would never have even talked about that. You just don't talk about trading down this early in the process. The draft is in 16 days at time of this recording. So you're never going to even talk about or even hint at, well, maybe we'll trade down, maybe we won't trade down. You don't even want to bring it up. Honestly, I think there is some value in trading down or at least moving around in the draft. But we'll have to see who falls to us. I think, obviously, Jeffrey Okudah is a huge one. Isaiah Simmons, the dude played receiver in high school. He can play coverage at different spots in the defense. Obviously, a really good linebacker. I've seen the team, or the fan base, and even a lot more of the NFL fan base and draft experts. If you can ever really be a draft expert, I don't want to get too deep on talking about Mel Kiper, and all these other dudes who make their mock drafts, who have like 12 different mock drafts from February to April, and they get on TV, on live television, and get every single one of their draft picks wrong, and they still get paid millions of dollars to create content for 2 months out of the year. I don't want to get too deep into what a draft expert is, but let's be honest about who Derrick Brown is, and I'll get a little deeper on this when I do my actual breakdown video of him, my draft prospect video on him, maybe in the next couple days. But Derrick Brown is a player I've seen a lot of fans move away from. People say they don't want to look at him at all. They'd rather trade down than actually pick up Derrick Brown with number 7. My biggest concern about that kind of line of thinking is that Derrick Brown is a player who doesn't just bring what he brings to the table. Derrick Brown can unlock a lot of good things for other players, because on the interior of our D-line, with K'Wan Short, who has been good but has not played anywhere near what he played when he had Star Lotulelei right beside him, if you have the offensive front choosing between double teaming either KK and leaving Derrick Brown on a one-on-one, or double teaming Derrick Brown and leaving KK on a one-on-one, you're going to get some very favorable matchups. And then you're also going to guarantee one-on-one matchups on the defensive ends. I don't know if I trade away that number 7 pick and say I don't want Derrick Brown and also risk not being able to get Javon Kinlaw. That would be bad. A missed opportunity. And we know about missed opportunities. We got the t-shirts to show for it. But getting back on topic here, talking about Rev Rhule and this virtual media availability he did from his home. Honestly, what we saw, what we heard here were things that we kind of expected, not many things that we didn't already know, but like I said, it was still interesting, it was still cool to hear what he had to say and, hear it from him, rather than having all these assumptions and, basically educated guesses about the state of the things that were going on with the Panthers. We all understand what things are going on here, but it's also good to hear it directly from the man himself, so I respect that. What I'm really most interested in is learning and figuring out how we handle this Christian McCaffrey deal. That's going to be what really defines this Panthers team moving forward. I want to really, really see what the team wants to do. And if what they talking about is how they actually going to be acting. That's the biggest thing for me. But other than that, that's about really the biggest things he talked about. Coronavirus has really changed a lot of different things. It's going to be a virtual draft. It's going to be real weird. And I'm going to be doing a lot of player profiles coming up very soon. Double uploads, triple uploads. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss a single video. But I want to know from you guys, did you watch this video? Check it out. What did you find most interesting from Rev Rhule and his availability? What are your thoughts on the draft and free agency? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.